Okay, so the next part we need to take care of is ensuring that users can request all of the posts, and we will query the file, the JSON file for them, and send them all back in the GET request. So we'll actually start with the route first. We will create a simple route that just asks for a GET route to the /endpoint. And we will use an async callback as we did before, just like we did before. And we will say try, let's say const posts equals await blog.list posts. And then we will send back res.status 200.json posts. And then if anything goes wrong, we will catch those errors and send them in the next callback. So that should create a new route for us, and then we will head to our model here, and we will write that method. And again, if you don't know the syntax for querying the JSON file, it's all part of the LowDB package. And so you can just look it up on GitHub, and it'll give you kind of an overview of how to use it. But I'm just going to use the API as in the best way possible, and we can kind of discuss alternative approaches later on. So if we want to get all posts from the JSON file, we could say const posts equals storage.get posts in the same way we did before. And then we're going to order them by the posted at key in descending order. And this will just make sure that the most recent posts are provided first. And then we will return those posts. And just to make sure that works, we will head back to Insomnia and change this from a post request to a GET request. And we will get rid of the body. And we will send our GET request, and we expect to see 2 posts returned here. And we do. We see our entire set of posts returned, and in the order we hoped, which is that the more recent post is returned first in our posts array. So the last one we need to do is we need to make sure that we can fetch an individual post by slug. And a slug is just a distinct URL. And as you can see here, we usually separate, just get rid of all the spaces, lowercase the whole thing, and replace them with dashes, because this is used as the URL to uniquely identify the post at that specific slug. That's usually what slugs are used for. And so fetching it by slug is as simple as making sure, well, let's do the route first as before. So we'll say router.get, and we will use a path parameter as before in the previous video on Node and Express, where we are using this colon syntax to capture whatever value comes at this position here, and then use the name slug to capture that value. And then we'll use a callback function, async rec res next, and we will try catch errors as before. And here we will do 2 things. One, we'll say const blog slug, we'll extract it from rec.params.slug. And this rec.params.slug, this slug variable or attribute on the rec.params object is only named slug because that is what we called the path parameter here when we used this colon path parameter name syntax. And so if we named it something else like blog slug, then this would be blog slug. But we're just going to go with slug for now because it's more simple. And then we will take that slug and we will get the post, and we will send it, fetch post by slug. We will send it to our model. And then if it doesn't exist, if no post, we will throw a new not found error with no post found. And then if it is found, we will say res.status 200.json, and we will send that post. And so then in our model, we can make sure that, well, we just need to fetch that exact post by slug. So we'll say const post equals storage.get posts, and then we will use the .find method, which will look through this list, this array of posts, and it will find the one with the attribute matching whatever we put in here. In this case, we're going to say slug, and it's going to look for the post that has a slug matching whatever value is passed into this method. And then we will say .value, which means just get the value of the post found, if it's found. And we will turn that post. Now, we can improve this a little bit, but for the time being, that hopefully should work. And so we should be able to then send a GET request to / whatever and see that post name if it exists. So we can say /second post, and we should get back that individual post. I think the other one was called first post. No post found. And it's good because we can see the error message working here. So if the post was not found, we get this no post found method or error. And if it is found, we get the post itself. That's exactly what we want. And so now our API is essentially working. We can do a few improvements here probably. We could make sure that this has a slug. That'd probably be a good thing to do. We can say const bad request error equals require ... utils errors, and then say if the new post provided not post.slug, we should probably throw an error. Throw new bad request error. Post must have a unique slug. And we can also check to see if a post already exists with the slug passed in, because we want to be able to uniquely identify them by their slug, because we're fetching them here. So if one already exists, we could say const existing post equals await blog.fetch post by slug, post.slug. And if that post already exists, we'll also throw a new bad request error. Same thing here. Now we could probably do these both together, but this is just to show you an example of how we might handle errors with creating new posts and 404 errors when posts don't exist. And so at this point we have a fully functional API that will serve exactly the purpose we need when we start building the front end for this application.